Do you ever feel like your own mind is working against you? Like a storm is brewing inside, and no matter how hard you try, you can't escape it? Anger flares without warning. Fear creeps in and tightens its grip. Sadness washes over you like a tide you didn't see coming. You tell yourself to calm down, to think clearly, to let it go. But nothing changes. It's exhausting. It's relentless. And deep down, you know this isn't how life was meant to feel. You're not imagining it. Most people live trapped in this invisible prison, unaware of the chains tightening around them every single day. Every argument, every regret, every moment of self-doubt chips away at something vital. Your time, your energy, your joy. They're all being drained by emotions you feel powerless to control. You've tried ignoring them, fighting them, pretending they don't exist, but they don't disappear. They grow. They decide for you when you act, what you say, and how you see the world. And it's not just the big moments that suffer. It's the small, invisible ones. The missed opportunities because fear whispered not yet. The friendships that frayed under words you wish you hadn't spoken. The nights you spent replaying mistakes in your head while life passed you by. Every uncontrolled emotion is a choice you didn't know you were making. Every reaction you couldn't stop was a moment of your life slipping through your fingers. But here's the truth. Most people never realize. Emotions aren't your enemy. They're signals. They're a language your mind uses to communicate what's important, what's unresolved, what's demanding your attention. The problem isn't feeling them. The problem is letting them run the show. When fear, anger, sadness controls your decisions, you live a fragmented life. When you learn to step back, to observe without judgment, a new world opens. Suddenly, the same emotions that once trapped you can guide you, sharpen you, even empower you. Imagine for a moment what it feels like to notice the surge of anger rising in your chest and to pause instead of lashing out. To feel anxiety coil in your stomach and to breathe through it, choosing clarity over chaos. To recognize sadness knocking at your door and respond with understanding, not self-punishment. This isn't fantasy. It's a skill, a muscle, a way of living that is available to anyone willing to do the work. And yes, it can be learned. Learning, it starts with one thing, awareness. The moment you recognize that an emotion is influencing your thoughts, your body, your choices, you step into control. That moment is power. It's the pivot between being a victim of your feelings and becoming the architect of your life. You don't have to suppress what you feel. You don't have to fight a war inside yourself every day. You only need to see it clearly, understand its origin, and choose your response. That choice is where freedom begins. Freedom from emotional chaos isn't quiet or easy at first. It demands attention, courage, and practice. It will push you to notice patterns you've ignored. It will challenge beliefs you've clung to for years. It will make you confront truths you've buried deep. But the reward? A life where emotions serve you instead of ruling you. A life where decisions are deliberate, not reactive. A life where peace isn't a distant dream, but a constant companion. And here's the most important part. Every small step compounds. Each time you pause, each time you reflect, each time you respond with intention instead of impulse, you reclaim a fragment of your power. Emotions stop being obstacles and start being tools. Every choice becomes a building block for a life that feels purposeful, steady, and alive. You begin to see the difference between living by instinct and living by design. You realize that the storms inside can be mastered, and with mastery comes clarity, confidence, and control. You don't have to surrender another moment to emotions that don't serve you. You don't have to let fear dictate your actions, anger dictate your words, or sadness dictate your perception. There is a path out of the chaos, and it begins the instant you decide to look inward, to face what you feel, and to reclaim control. That path is yours to walk. Each step brings power. Each step brings clarity. Each step brings life back into your hands. And when you finally realize that when the first moment of true control comes, you will feel something that has been waiting for you all along, relief, strength, and the unmistakable sense that you are no longer at the mercy of your emotions. You are in charge. Every day you allow emotions to control you, the cost silently stacks. It starts small, almost invisible. A sharp word you didn't mean to say, a decision made in panic, a door you didn't knock on because fear whispered it wasn't worth it. But these small moments compound. They accumulate like unseen debts, draining energy, eroding confidence, and quietly reshaping your life without your permission. You may feel it as stress, frustration, or dissatisfaction. You may shrug it off, telling yourself it's just the way life is. But it isn't. You're not doomed to drift under the weight of every feeling that arises. The difference between a life lost to emotions and a life mastered is simple. Awareness meets action. Notice how anger coils in your chest before it bursts. Feel the tension of fear tightening around your thoughts before it dictates your choices. Recognize the sadness pressing down on your mind before it slows you down. That moment of recognition is a spark. It's the instant you step out of autopilot and reclaim your power. It's the turning point that separates reaction from control. Most people never see it. Most people let the waves sweep them away. You don't have to be most people. You can pause. You can breathe. You can respond instead of react. You can decide what serves you and what doesn't. And it's not just about avoiding mistakes. It's about reclaiming your life. Each uncontrolled emotion is a choice you didn't consciously make. Each unexamined reaction is a fraction of your potential slipping away. When you start noticing, when you begin observing without judgment, you gain clarity. The chaos inside begins to settle. You see patterns in your thoughts, triggers in your environment, habits in your responses. You see the hidden levers that have been controlling you all along. Knowledge alone doesn't change you, but knowledge combined with deliberate action becomes unstoppable. That is where transformation begins. You may think this sounds abstract, but it isn't. Imagine the power in a single pause. Imagine feeling anger rise and instead of exploding, choosing to respond with calm and reason. Imagine fear pressing in and instead of freezing, taking a deliberate step forward. Imagine sadness knocking and instead of sinking, acknowledging it and letting it guide you to deeper insight. Each pause, each conscious choice, each small act of emotional mastery builds momentum. The more you practice, the more control becomes automatic. You aren't suppressing feelings, you're harnessing them. You're converting raw energy into focused power. The stakes are higher than you realize. Every decision made in emotional chaos shapes the trajectory of your life. Every reaction left unchecked writes a story you didn't choose. Opportunities slip, relationships fray, confidence erodes. Your future depends on the control you cultivate today. If you wait until it's too late, the chance to reclaim your path become harder to grasp. But if you act now, if you step into awareness and choose your responses deliberately, you take ownership of your destiny. You no longer wait for life to happen to you. You make life happen through the mastery of your inner world. It begins with small, precise actions repeated consistently. Breathing before responding, naming your emotions without judgment, questioning the thoughts that accompany your feelings, observing triggers and patterns. Each act rewires your mind, reshapes your reactions, and rewrites the story of your life. It feels slow at first. Progress is subtle. But each day compounds. Each moment of awareness grows your power. Each deliberate response strengthens your control. And before long, the transformation is undeniable. You become someone who chooses clarity over chaos, purpose over impulse, strength over surrender. The reward isn't just control, it's freedom. Freedom from the roller coaster of highs and lows. Freedom from regret and self-recrimination. Freedom to act, to think, to feel without being ruled by unseen forces inside. You start to live deliberately. You start to create the life you want instead of drifting through the life you inherited. The sense of peace, clarity, and confidence becomes addictive. You can't go back to living unconsciously. You see the difference in every decision, every relationship, every step forward. Life opens up in ways you didn't know were possible, and urgency must fuel you. Every day spent letting emotions hijack your actions is a day lost. Every uncontrolled reaction is a moment of potential wasted. You can't afford to drift any longer. The time to act is now. Begin noticing, begin observing, begin choosing, begin reclaiming what has always been yours, your life, your power, your future. The storm inside will still rise. Emotions will still come. But when you stand at the helm, when awareness guides your choices, you are no longer a passenger. You are the captain. And life finally responds to you, not the other way around. Control is not a single moment. It is a constant, unyielding practice. Every second counts, every reaction matters, every choice shapes the life you are building. You cannot wait for the perfect moment because it will never come. Life moves relentlessly forward, and emotions will continue to rise, uninvited and unpredictable. If you hesitate, if you allow distraction or doubt to take hold, those waves will sweep you away again. The difference between surviving and thriving is the ability to act in a moment, to anchor yourself when the storm rages, to decide who you will be before the chaos dictates it. Feel it now. The tension in your chest when anger flares, the tightening in your stomach when fear whispers don't try, the heaviness that sits on your shoulders when sadness lingers. These are not just feelings, they are signals. They are markers pointing directly to what needs attention, what must be mastered, what is demanding your strength. Ignoring them does not erase them. Suppressing them does not diminish them. Facing them, understanding them, choosing your response, that is where power lies. Every time you step into this space, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Do not underestimate the small choices. Pausing before you speak. Breathing when your mind races. Naming the emotion without judgment. Each is a declaration that you refuse to be a prisoner. Each is a brick in the foundation of a life lived deliberately. These moments accumulate faster than you realize. One act of control leads to another. One insight compounds into clarity. One deliberate choice sets a precedent for every future decision. The momentum builds quietly, invisibly, until one day, the storm that once ruled your life becomes manageable. It bends to your will instead of breaking you. The cost of inaction is steep. Every unchecked outburst, every decision made under pressure, every time you let fear or frustration dictate your actions, you pay. Time, energy, relationships, opportunities, they slip through your hands like sand. Regret grows in the spaces left by uncontrolled emotions. Your potential diminishes silently, until one day you wake and realize you have drifted far from the life you wanted. But it doesn't have to be that way. None of it does. Control is not reserved for a few. It is not a gift given to the lucky. It is a skill honed through awareness, repetition, and courage. Think about the life waiting for you on the other side of mastery. The calm when pressure rises, the clarity when emotions surge, the confidence that comes from knowing you are in command. Decisions become deliberate, not reactive. Relationships flourish because you respond with presence, not impulsivity. Challenges transform into opportunities because your mind is steady, your focus sharp. You start to operate from a place of power, not chaos. The sense of relief is intoxicating. The sense of freedom is addictive. Once you taste it, you cannot return to the old way of living. Urgency is your ally. Every day spent reacting, hesitating, or ignoring the signals of your emotions is a day lost. Every moment of surrender strengthens the patterns that control you. You cannot wait for life to slow down. You cannot wait for fear or frustration to vanish on their own. You must step into action now. Awareness without action is wasted potential. Observing without responding is meaningless. You must pair insight with choice. Reflection with movement, understanding with execution. That is how transformation manifests. That is how power is claimed. Mastery is built incrementally. It begins in the micro moments, choosing calm when provoked, choosing clarity when anxious, choosing presence when distracted. Each micro moment compounds into a larger pattern. Each deliberate response rewires the mind. Each act of control strengthens your capacity to face the next challenge. You begin to anticipate your emotions, to recognize the triggers, to intercept reactions before they spiral. The life that once felt out of reach starts to emerge, shaped by conscious effort and unwavering commitment. You are not powerless. You are not a victim. The storm inside you is not stronger than you are. It rises, yes, but you can anchor yourself. It threatens, yes, but you can act. It demands, yes, but you can choose. Every breath, every pause, every intentional decision is a strike against chaos and a declaration of sovereignty over your own life. The journey is relentless, but so is your potential. The choice is urgent, but so is you. Our capacity. Stand firm. Step forward. The life controlled by deliberate action, not by reactive emotion, is waiting. Claim it. Now, control is not a destination. It is a constant battle, waged in every thought, every reaction, every choice you make. Emotions will test you. They will rise without warning. Anger will flare. Anxiety will tighten. Doubt will whisper lies that feel true. You cannot avoid it. You cannot outrun it. But you can meet it. You can face it. You can take the wheel before it drives you into decisions you will regret. Every moment you delay, the storm grows stronger. Every unchecked feeling compounds into patterns that shape the life you may not recognize in the mirror. You have to see the truth clearly. Every uncontrolled reaction steals your time, your energy, your confidence, your potential. Every time you let fear dictate your path, every time frustration dictates your words, every time sadness dictates your choices, life slips further out of your hands. This is the cost of surrender. It accumulates silently, invisibly, until one day you wake and realize months, years, decades have passed while you were caught in autopilot. But awareness is the spark. Awareness opens the door. Awareness is the first act of reclaiming power you never knew you had. Do not be fooled by the comfort of distraction. The noise of everyday life hides the chains tightening around you. Social pressures, endless responsibilities, the rush of constant movement, all serve to numb you to what is really happening inside. You must pierce through it. You must confront the rise of emotion in real time. Anger, anxiety, sadness, frustration. Every wave can be intercepted before it crashes. Every surge can be transformed into fuel instead of fire. The more you practice, the more automatic it becomes. Each pause, each deliberate breath, each conscious decision is a brick in the fort. Rest of control. Imagine the power in those moments. Feeling anger flare, yet responding with calm. Feeling fear tighten, yet taking a step forward. Feeling sadness settle, yet observing it without letting it weigh you down. These are not abstract concepts. They are tangible actions that change the course of your life. Micro moments of mastery accumulate. Micro decisions shape destiny. You begin to notice the patterns, the triggers, the hidden levers that have been steering your life without your consent. Once you see them, you can act on them. Once you act, the life you want begins to emerge. The urgency cannot be overstated. Every uncontrolled reaction, every emotional surrender compounds over time. Opportunities are lost, relationships fray, confidence erodes. The future you desire slips further away with each unexamined response. You cannot wait. You cannot hope that control will appear on its own. It will not. Mastery requires action now, every day. Awareness without action is useless. Observation without intervention is wasted potential. You must pair insight with execution. You must act decisively, repeatedly, without hesitation. The reward is profound. Each moment of deliberate control builds momentum. Each conscious response strengthens resilience. Each pause before reaction sharpens clarity. Life begins to flow differently. Decisions are deliberate, not reactive. Relationships deepen because you act from presence rather than impulse. Challenges become opportunities because your mind is steady, your focus unwavering. The liberation that comes from mastery is visceral. It is tangible. It is the difference between drifting through life and navigating it with purpose. Do not underestimate the compounding effect. Every controlled response, no matter how small, sets the stage for the next. Each deliberate choice rewires your brain. Each act of observation thins your ability to intercept future surges. Over time, the storm that once dominated your life bends to your will. Emotions stop being obstacles and start being tools. Fear becomes a guide. Anger becomes energy. Sadness becomes insight. You do not suppress. You do not avoid. You harness. You transform. This is the path to sovereignty over your inner world. The storm will still rise. Emotions will still surge. Life will still challenge. But when you stand firmly in awareness, when you act with intention, when you decide instead of reacting, you are unstoppable. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the captain. Every choice reinforces it. Every act strengthens it. Every moment compounds it. Power, clarity, and freedom are not distant ideals. They are available now, waiting for you to claim them. Step forward. Stand firm. Take control. The life you were meant to live is waiting. Every emotion that rises within you is a test. Anger, fear, frustration, doubt. They are not enemies, but they are challenges you cannot ignore. The moment you let one slip past your awareness, it shapes your choices, your words, your life. Each uncontrolled reaction is a chain around your potential, a silent thief stealing your clarity, your confidence, your future. You may feel powerless, but power is not gone. It is waiting for you to claim it, to rise and meet the storm instead of being swept away. You cannot afford another moment of drift. Every second matters. Every decision compounds. Every reaction either strengthens you or erodes you. The first step is brutal honesty. Look at your life as it is, not as you wish it were, not as you tell yourself it is, but as it truly is. How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because fear or impatience dictated your actions? How many relationships have weakened because anger escaped before it could be tamed? How why nights have you replayed mistakes, wishing you had responded differently? These moments are not accidents. They are the natural consequence of living unconsciously, of letting emotions lead instead of following your own reason. Awareness is your first act of rebellion against this hidden pattern. Do not wait for feelings to subside on their own. They will not. They will rise again and again, testing your resolve, demanding surrender. Each surge is a chance to choose differently, to pause, to breathe, to respond with intention. This is where freedom begins, not in the absence of emotion, but in the mastery of it. To act deliberately in the face of rising anger, to step forward when fear screams, to observe sadness without letting it weigh you down. This is power. This is strength. This is life lived on your own terms. Every small victory matters. Pausing before you speak, resisting the urge to lash out, questioning the thoughts that accompany fear. These are not trivial acts. They are the building blocks of a life controlled by purpose, not by impulse. Each moment of conscious choice compounds. Each act of restraint, clarity, and presence rewires your mind. Slowly, inevitably, the patterns that once ruled you begin to bend to your will. The storm inside does not vanish, but you learn to navigate it. You learn to harness it. You learn to let it serve you instead of destroy you. The stakes are not hypothetical. Every uncontrolled emotion has cost you something real. Time lost, opportunities missed, relationships strained, confidence diminished. The longer you wait, the more it compounds. You cannot afford hesitation. You cannot afford the illusion that control will come without effort. Every instant you pause without action is a moment of potential wasted, a moment where life drifts past your grasp. But every instant you act, every decision made with clarity and intentio, builds momentum, strengthens resolve, and reshapes your trajectory. Imagine the life that comes from mastery. Decisions made with calm precision, reactions chosen with clarity, challenges met with confidence instead of panic. Relationships deepen because you respond from presence rather than impulse. Opportunities seize because fear no longer dictates your steps. Each moment feels lighter, sharper, more alive. You begin to understand that mastery is not about suppressing emotion, it is about transforming it. Anger becomes energy, fear becomes insight, sadness becomes wisdom. Each surge is no longer a threat, but a signal, a guide, a tool for growth. Urgency must drive you. The time to act is now. The storm will come, and it will test you relentlessly. If you hesitate, if you wait for comfort or certainty, it will overpower you again. But if you meet it, if you rise with awareness, if you act with intention, you claim the power that has always been within you. You become the architect of your life, not a victim of circumstance. You take control of the unseen forces that have long dictated your path. Every choice, every pause, every deliberate action compounds. The life you dream of, the life you deserve, the life waiting beyond chaos, it is not out of reach. It is yours for the taking. Step forward, stand firm, master yourself, live deliberately. Nothing else matters until you do. You have felt it. How quickly emotions can hijack your life. A single surge of anger can destroy relationships. A flicker of fear can freeze progress. A wave of doubt can bury potential. The moments you think are small, the reactions you dismiss as insignificant, they add up. They accumulate silently, reshaping your life in ways you barely notice. Every unexamined response chips away at your freedom, your clarity, your ability to choose your own path. The question is not whether you will be tested, it is how you will respond when it happens again. Control is not optional, it is essential. Every decision you make under the influence of unchecked emotion carries a cost. Every word spoken in anger, every choice made in panic, every hesitation born from fear. These moments define your life more than any plan, any strategy, any intention. They leave marks on your mind, your confidence, your future. And yet, awareness changes everything. The instant you notice the emotion before it controls you, you reclaim authority. You step from autopilot into deliberate action. You intercept chaos with clarity. You turn reaction into choice. This is the pivot point between a life dictated by circumstance and a life shaped by design. Imagine the power and mastery, feeling the heat of anger and pausing before it erupts, feeling fear and still moving forward with precision, feeling sadness and allowing it to inform, not immobilize. Each deliberate response strengthens you, builds resilience and rewires your mind. Control compounds over time. Each choice reinforces the next. Each act of awareness trains your brain to respond instead of react. Slowly, the chaos that once ruled your life bends to your will. The storms still come, but you are no longer swept away. You navigate them. You harness them. You transform them into fuel for progress. The stakes are urgent. Every moment of surrender to Him. Ocean carries unseen consequences. Every unchecked reaction erodes confidence, steals energy, fractures relationships, and blurs your vision of what is possible. Time moves forward relentlessly. Life does not pause for hesitation. You cannot wait for feelings to calm on their own. You cannot hope the storm will pass. It will not. Mastery requires immediate action. Awareness without execution is meaningless. Observing without intervening is wasted potential. You must act decisively in every micro moment, every rising surge, every inner challenge. That is how power is claimed. Small, precise steps create unstoppable momentum. Pausing before responding. Naming the emotion without judgment. Questioning the thoughts that accompany every surge. Each act, repeated consistently, rewires your brain. Each conscious choice expands your capacity. The patterns that once dictated your life no longer have dominion. The storm becomes manageable. Fear becomes insight. Anger becomes energy. Sadness becomes wisdom. You are not suppressing your emotions. You are transforming them into tools that serve your purpose instead of ruling you. The life waiting for you on the other side of mastery is vivid. Clarity replaces chaos. Decisions are deliberate. Relationships thrive because presence replaces impulse. Challenges turn into opportunities because your mind is steady and your focus unshakable. Every success, every calm response, every moment of awareness compounds, building a life designed by you, not dictated by circumstance. You experience the liberation of knowing you can act with intention even when the storm rages. You feel the power of self-mastery. Urgency must drive you forward. Every second spent reacting unconsciously is a second lost forever. Every hesitation strengthens old patterns. You cannot wait for certainty, comfort, or the perfect timing. You must act now. Each deliberate choice fortifies control. Each pause strengthens resilience. Each moment of awareness builds momentum that cannot be undone. The storm will rise, and it will challenge you relentlessly. But if you step into it with courage, with focus, with deliberate intention, you are unstoppable. Your life is waiting. Not a distant dream, not an abstract idea, but real, tangible, alive. It is waiting for the control you are ready to seize. Every breath, every pause, every conscious response brings you closer to mastery. The chaos inside will always rise, but you will rise higher. The emotions will always surge, but you will stand firmer. The challenges will always come, but you will move with clarity. This is the path of deliberate power. This is the life of control. Step into it now. Command your emotions, command your choices, command your life. Nothing else matters until you do. Every moment you surrender to your emotions, life takes something from you. Every impulse that escapes your control shapes your reality in ways you may not notice until it is too late. Anger leaves a scar on your relationships. Fear steals opportunities you'll never get back. Doubt convinces you to stay small, to shrink your vision, to settle for less than you deserve. The cost is real, relentless, invisible, and it is accumulating even now. You cannot afford another second of passive drifting. Every breath you take without awareness is a choice to hand power away. Every reaction you do not master is a thread in the web that binds your potential. The power to change exists inside you, but it will not claim itself. Awareness is not enough. Understanding is not enough. You must act. You must step forward into every surge, every challenge, every rising emotion, and choose deliberately. Do not flinch. Do not rationalize. Do not wait. Mastery is forged in moments of tension, in the second before reaction, in the instant you decide to act instead of being acted upon. It is raw. It is demanding. And it is the only path to freedom. Picture the life that comes from this mastery. When anger rises, you respond with calm precision. When fear threatens, you move with deliberate courage. When sadness presses down, you observe and learn instead of sinking. Every act compounds. Each micro-decision strengthens your control, reshapes your habits, and rewires your brain. Slowly, the patterns that once dictated your existence begin to bend to your will. The chaos that haunted you becomes manageable. The storms inside no longer control you. They fuel you. The energy that once destroyed now builds. Every uncontrolled reaction is a moment lost, a life redirected by forces you don't choose. Every surrendered impulse reinforces patterns that hold you back. Time passes relentlessly, indifferent to hesitation or hope. Opportunities fade, relationships fray, confidence diminishes. The life you dream of is slipping farther from your grasp with every unexamined response. You must meet the challenge now. You must confront the surges that threaten to derail you. You must act with focus, with courage, with deliberate intensity. Awareness without execution is wasted potential. Observation without action is meaningless. Each deliberate pause is a declaration of power. Each conscious choice is a step towards sovereignty over your inner world. Every micro moment where you respond instead of react builds momentum, creating a life where emotions serve you instead of controlling you. Fear becomes insight. Anger becomes energy. Sadness becomes wisdom. You do not suppress your feelings, you transform them into tools. Every act compounds. Every moment of mastery strengthens the next. Slowly, inevitably, the life you are meant to live begins to emerge, built one decisive act at a time. Imagine the clarity, the focus, the freedom. Decisions are no longer impulsive, but intentional. Relationships thrive because your words carry presence instead of reactivity. Challenges are no longer threats but opportunities because your mind is steady, your attention unshakable. Life flows differently when you are at the helm. Every success, every calm response, every controlled moment reinforces your ability to shape your world. The liberation is tangible, the power is palpable, the momentum becomes unstoppable. Urgency drives transformation. Every second spent reacting unconsciously is a second lost forever. Every hesitation reinforces the chains that bind you. Life does not wait. Emotions do not pause. You cannot afford delay, doubt, or comfort. You must act now. Each deliberate choice fortifies strength. Each controlled response sharpens focus. Each moment of awareness compounds into mastery. The storm will rise, relentlessly testing your resolve, demanding surrender. But if you step forward, if you rise with intention, if you choose with clarity, you are unbreakable. The life waiting for you is vivid, alive, within reach, but it will not wait for you to be ready. It is shaped by the choices you make in the heat of the storm. Each breath, each pause, each conscious response builds the foundation of a life controlled by you, not by impulse. You are not a victim. You are not powerless. You are the architect of every decision, every reaction, every outcome. The chaos inside will always exist, but so will your control. Stand firm, act deliberately, harness your emotions, master your life. Step forward now and claim the power that is yours. Every emotion that rises inside you is a crossroads. Each surge of anger, each wave of fear, each pull of doubt presents a choice. You can let it dictate your actions, shape your words, and steal your clarity. Or you can step into the space between stimulus and response and reclaim control. This is not theory. This is not empty advice. This is the battlefield of your life. Every unexamined reaction is a loss. Every deliberate pause, every conscious decision is a victory. The difference between a life drifting in chaos and a life forged in power is found in these moments. Think about how often you have been carried by emotion without realizing it. Words spoken in haste, opportunities avoided because fear whispered not yet. Moments of hesitation that allowed life to pass by unnoticed. They seem small, but they compound. They accumulate, shaping your future silently, invisibly, relentlessly. Each unchecked reaction weakens your potential. Each surrender diminishes your confidence. Each unexamined impulse builds walls around the life you were meant to create. You cannot afford to ignore it any longer. The stakes are high. The cost is real. Control begins with recognition, noticing the first spark of emotion before it spreads, feeling the tension in your body, the quickening of your thoughts, the rise of your instincts. This is where power resides. In that pause, that breath, that moment of awareness, you reclaim authority over yourself. You stop being a passenger. You step into the driver's seat. The surge of anger no longer dictates your words. The shadow of fear no longer freezes your action. The weight of sadness no longer immobilizes you. You observe, you understand, you respond with intention. And in that act, you begin to reclaim your life. Every deliberate choice compounds, pausing before reacting, naming the emotion without judgment, questioning the thoughts that accompany it. Each small act strengthens your control, rewires your mind, and reshapes your habits. Slowly, patterns that once held you hostage bend to your will. The chaos that ruled your inner world becomes manageable. Fear becomes insight. Anger becomes energy. Sadness becomes guidance. The storms still come, but they no longer overwhelm you. They become tools. They become fuel. They become a force you can harness to propel yourself forward. The urgency cannot be overstated. Every second spent reacting unconsciously is a second lost to life that will never return. Every hesitation strengthens the patterns that hold you back. Every missed opportunity reinforces the chains that limit your freedom. You cannot wait for circumstances to improve. You cannot wait for emotions to fade. You must act now. Awareness without action is wasted potential. Observation without execution is meaningless. Every rising surge of emotion is an invitation to practice mastery. Every micro moment of control is a step toward unstoppable momentum. Picture the life that comes from mastery. Decisions made with clarity, words spoken with intention, challenges met with calm precision. Relationships deepen because you respond from presence, not impulse. Opportunities seize because fear no longer dictates your actions. Each moment of control strengthens the next. Each pause before reaction reinforces your resilience. Slowly, inevitably, you become someone who shapes their own reality instead of being shaped by it. The liberation is tangible. The power is real. The momentum becomes unstoppable. Do not underestimate the significance of now. Every second you delay, life continues without you. Every uncontrolled reaction compounds the cost. Every surrendered impulse steals potential that cannot be regained. The storm will rise again. Emotions will surge again. Life will test you relentlessly. But if you meet it with awareness, with courage, with deliberate intention, you are unbreakable. You are the captain of your own life. Every choice, every pause, every conscious response compounds into a trajectory of mastery. Step forward. Stand firm. Command your emotions. Command your choices. Command your life. The path to power, clarity, and freedom begins the moment you decide to claim it. The moment you take control of your emotions, the world shifts. Suddenly, the chaos that once dictated your life loses its grip. Anger no longer erupts uncontrollably. Fear no longer freezes your action. Doubt no longer clouds your vision. You feel the power of choice, and it is intoxicating. Every breath, every pause, every deliberate response becomes a tool. The storm inside still rises, but you rise higher. You are no longer at the mercy of impulses, reactions, or fleeting moods. You are the observer, the decision maker, the force directing the trajectory of your life. Each uncontrolled emotion you have tolerated in the past has left its mark. Words said in haste, opportunities avoided because fear whispered wait, moments of hesitation that allowed life to drift by. These are not insignificant. They accumulate, silently shaping the person you become. Every surrendered reaction weakens your potential. Every unchecked surge chips away at confidence. Every ignored signal erodes clarity. You may have believed these patterns were normal, unavoidable, even unchangeable. But they are not. You have the ability to intercept them, to reshape them, to turn them from enemies into allies. Control begins in the micro moments. The instant before anger explodes. The second fear tightens around your chest. The moment doubt begins to cloud your mind. Pause, breathe, observe. Name the emotion without judgment. Question the thoughts that accompany it. Decide how you will respond. Each deliberate action compounds. Each conscious choice rewires your brain. Slowly, the chains that once bound you begin to loosen. The storm no longer dictates your path, you guide it. Fear transforms into insight. Anger transforms into energy. Sadness transforms into understanding. The same forces that once threatened to destroy you now become your instruments for growth and strength. Every uncontrolled reaction exacts a cost. Every moment of surrender diminishes potential. Every hesitation reinforces patterns that bind you. Time does not wait. Life does not pause. Each instant you allow emotions to dominate is an instant lost to regret, lost to frustration, lost to drifting instead of creating. Urgency becomes your ally. You cannot pose. TP1 Mastery. You cannot hope for clarity to appear on its own. You must act now. Awareness without execution is wasted. Observation without intervention is meaningless. Every surge of emotion is an opportunity. Every micro moment of control is a step toward unstoppable momentum. Visualize the life mastery brings. Decisions made with clarity. Words spoken with precision. Actions guided by intention, not impulse. Relationships strengthened because presence replaces reactivity. Opportunities seized because fear no longer dictates your steps. Each deliberate choice reinforces the next. Each pause before reaction strengthens resilience. Slowly, inevitably, you become someone who shapes their own destiny instead of being shaped by circumstance. Liberation is tangible. Power is real. Momentum is unstoppable. Do not underestimate the significance of now. Every second you delay, life progresses without you. Every uncontrolled reaction compounds the cost. Every surrendered impulse steals potential that cannot be regained. The storm will rise. Emotions will surge. Life will test you relentlessly. But if you meet it with awareness, with courage, with deliberate intention, you are unbreakable. You are no longer a passenger. You are the captain. Every choice, every pause, every conscious response compounds into a trajectory of mastery. Step forward, stand firm. Command your emotions, command your choices, command your life. Your freedom, your power, and your destiny are waiting. Claim them now. Every moment you allow your emotions to lead, you give away power. Every surge of anger, every wave of fear, every pulse of doubt has a cost. The words spoken in haste, the opportunities ignored, the moments lost to hesitation, they are all pieces of a life quietly slipping through your fingers. You may have believed this was normal, unavoidable. You may have thought that chaos inside is imply who you are. But it isn't. That storm inside is not your master. It is your signal. It is your challenge. And it is your opportunity to reclaim the life that is rightfully yours. Control begins with noticing, feeling the tightening of anger in your chest before it explodes, recognizing the pull of fear before it freezes you, observing the weight of sadness before it bends your will. In that pause lies power. In that moment lies choice. The second you decide to act with intention, instead of reacting on impulse, you step out of the current and into command. That micro moment of awareness repeated over and over becomes mastery. You are no longer carried by emotion. You guide it, you shape it, you transform it into fuel for growth, strength, and clarity. The cost of inaction is relentless. Every uncontrolled reaction builds invisible chains. Every surrendered impulse deepens patterns that limit your potential. Every moment you drift unconsciously compounds regret. Time moves forward. Life does not pause. Every lost opportunity, every fractured relationship, every missed chance to act with clarity is permanent.